Hey guys. Don't know what happened there. We've got chat problems. Beats me. Anyway. Hey Paul. Stuart, g'day. Bobby, hello. Still got kittens. Peter Noddle, g'day. Chirpy, hello. David Ian Sykes, g'day. Mark Osborne, hello. David Bellini, g'day. James P, coffee time. Paul from the Necklace Workshop, hello. R. Stephen Lang from Shark River Machine, hello. Russell Dole, good day. Etc. That's it for me. Got nothing to add. Well, it's the trouble with actually doing stuff in the workshop that's sort of bigger jobs is that I really haven't achieved much. Yes, I have. I've done stuff. But sort of we covered it pretty well last week. Hey, Craig. What we do? We've got all these undercoated boards here everywhere. We've got stacks of them. That's sort of, you go there. I guess that's number one thing that we've achieved this weekend. Guess we could have a look at them. Russ Knox, g'day. So we've had a bit of a clean up too. There's actually floor space and stuff. So Kevin, g'day. So they're all got a coat of Sealer Primer 2-pack crap on them. Yeah, Chirpy's sick. You don't want what he's got. And there's the rest of them. So they're a bit shiny, but they are drying off. Another few hours, another 12 or 24 hours wouldn't hurt them. And we'll sand them back. Hey, Fridge. So then we start assembling it after it's got some red paint on it. So sand them back and put some red paint on this weekend. I think I've got 3 days. I've got 2 days. I've got 2 and a bit days anyway. Probably have enough time to sand these back and get a coat of red on one side. We'll see how we go. So there we go. We have some clear floor space and we have a little bit of clear bench space. Don't read too much into that. I'll put this back on here. This isn't domed, no. Hey, Kimber. It's got a bit of a curve this way to match the boiler barrel. That goes on the side of the lagging. That's the works plate. 16771. So hope you're feeling better soon, Chirp. Tea and biscuits, g'day. So, there you go. All this has got to go back on the engine. It's a bit of a job, actually. It's sort of a bit scary and challenging, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, the tired thing lasts a bit. You'll be all right, though, then, if you come right now. Yeah. This goes on a sheet metal cowl that goes around the boiler, which is spaced off that much, something like that, with timber. for insulation. And it's all got to be nicely finished around the ends and everything, and I don't know really how nice it is or what it is. I haven't really even looked at those bits. They're all on a pallet next to the engine. So first job with all that is to get it back here this week and to give it a steam clean and clean it up and see, so that you can actually walk past it without getting black all over, which at this point it's impossible with oil and soot and stuff. And start preparing it to go on. I don't think it can go on yet because we've got a bit of a boiler weep on the sort of on the front. In one of the boiler joints, we've got a bit of a weep, which doesn't seem like it's going to take up. So we might as well do a bit of caulking there. We've also got a mud hole that's probably needs a new gasket. It doesn't seem to seal particularly well. We'll need to do something about that as well. But first priority is to get this timber all back on the steel frames and some canvas and stuff on it. Nothing to worry about, that's right. But I don't really want to put cladding over the top of it without fixing it. Dan, that's the side, like the main door on top or on the side that we had trouble getting to let seal. Manhole, yeah. So yeah, they're things that probably need to be done before the cladding goes on. But because the weather is unpredictable at the best at the moment, and is likely to be all wet all spring, and because the thing is sort of uncovered, we really need to get this roof back on it. It's a person hole, yes. And of course, it's completely in the way, and we put the step back on the side. It's all the walkway along the side, which runs past the top of the manhole. All that's either got to come off, or we've got to do something about that to fix all these problems in the right order. And then we can think about putting some cladding on. But it'd be nice to get some paint on the cladding first, because I think once it goes on, it ain't coming off for a couple of years. So that's where we're at. There's always a dozen little jobs or 1,000 jobs to do on that. I think that's just a new state of being, is that there's always stuff to do. Yeah, if odd things poke out that hole, you've got issues. You just got to, I guess, go with it. No, I mean, if you're in there and the event starts taking place and you're on the wrong side of the hole, I'm just saying, it's no good being all high and mighty about it. You just got to roll with it and see where it takes you, I guess. Anyway, that was probably not really particularly useful. But yeah, access opening. It's basically a inspection hole. It's about I don't know, 12, 14 inches across, oval in the top of the boiler. It's got a round rubber or asbestos or cloth or PTFE or otherwise gasket in it. Which generally, any time I've ever had anything to do with them, they're a bit of a dog. They don't seal particularly well. Anyway, so that's where we're at with that. Truck's arriving on Friday with it. We'll unload it out here. Next week we might try and rig up some lights out there in the dark for live stream and have a look around it. Have to ever think about that. Don't know, it might be a torchlight thing. We can have a look at all these things. Yeah, still sort of trying to source bits for this canopy. We're getting there. Hang on, guys. I'm just going to drag something. Am I going to paint it? No, it'll probably get painted red again at some point before it goes on. Yeah, it's probably had red red paint in it, but anyway. Just going to sort of screw it back on. See this? Right. This is one of the bows. There's not much room to spare in this one, Russell. It's not very big. I think if you got your head in there, you may have trouble getting it out. You'd want to hope that no one was running past looking for a glory hole as such if you had your head stuck in there, because I think it'd be interesting twist on the stuck under the bed videos. Anyway, there's probably more information than any of you need. These are Anglerline or steel or something. They're iron anyway, and I guess they're angle. I'm not sure whether they're original or not. That's another good question. But they look like the original ones, and they're about the same measurements. They got a row of holes around there, see? Right round. It's on the concrete floor. It'll give you some idea how big it is. I don't know. Yeah, there we go. Anyway, the boards all bolt around the top, right? We'll get a board and we will demonstrate this. Here we go. These are all sort of numbered and crap, but they all bolt around there, like so. Right. Over the top of that is a layer of canvas and gesso or you guys watch all the wrong sort of videos. Some sort of a canvas bedding product or a flexible sort of something painted over the top of it, and then there's canvas bedded in it and another coat on top of that, and a sort of in a grey to finish it off. However, this board here is about, let's have a look at this. We'll look at this end of the board. It must be drying if I can do this to it. Right. I guess this is probably, what do we got here? 16mm, 5/8, something like that, bit thicker maybe. Right. Yeah, I wonder about it. What I'm getting to, see, all these boards all sort of join up in the right order if we put them back together in the right spot. what we're getting to is that there needs to be an end cap around the outside of these boards. This frame here goes on that set of holes there. So it's, 12 inches from the end, something like that. Right? A foot, 300 mil from the end. And the end hangs out, right? And then it's got canvas tacked over, stapled over it. We use stainless steel staples and tackle the canvas down. And then it needs some sort of an end cap in like a 3/4 or 20 mil angle, steel angle would be great, bent round the same profile as this, right? So it needs to be bent round here, about 16 mil bigger than this, that shape, and we need one on each end. If someone has any thoughts about how to do that the most easy and cost-effective way, and the neatest and tidiest, I'd be very, very keen to hear. So if you've got any ideas about that. Notch it and TIG it's probably as good a way as any, but sort of needs a lot of notches and a fair bit of TIG welding. Probably if I clamped a lot of little 60 mil blocks of wood around there, or even once I got it all together, just clamped it on and notched it as we go and TIGged it maybe, and then welded it up afterwards, just tacked it and welded it up afterwards, maybe that'd work. If you could roll it, it'd be really nice. The other option, I guess, is to cut the two pieces, or use a piece of flat on top and then cut the end piece to match the picture. But Tim is on the probably on the page of how it should be done. Yeah. Thanks, Tim Atwood. In a roller, yes. It'd be nice to roll it up, but I think maybe it's going to get like TIGged and tacked at some point. So that's just to finish it off. It really probably doesn't even need it, except it looks a bit ugly without it, probably. Anyway, that's where we are. Be a good roller joint, yeah. I'm guessing that's about 2 weeks travel either way. Probably not up for that. I'd have to enlist the help of a crew who would probably never have talked to me again after that. They'd be pretty sore, I reckon. And that's without getting stuck in the manhole. Anyway, so that's that. There's one each end and there's one in the middle. Then there's these bits here, which are behind all these boards at the moment. We won't have too much of a look at them, but this is what, 40 by 10 flat, something like that. And this is 1.25 solid bar. So there's 4 uprights and then there's a crossways in between them all, and some hooks and things. This one's actually got a timber board in the middle of it for a number plate or something. So, yeah, I don't know how well you can see that or anything. Looks like I'm probably not the first person to lean something like this up against the wall, so it sticks to it and peels the paint off. So we're not going to really worry too much about that, but we might just loosen them up before we leave them overnight. There we go. Do the same over here. I don't think these are sticking out really much. So, to give you some idea about it, right? That's the side piece. And then, oh crap, sorry. This goes sort of this way. So it's a fairly solid structure. A lot of timber in it. So you're going to need a crane or something to put it back on the roller, I think. Still thinking about that. Anyway. Dan's got the stuff down there to do it. Yeah, righto, well, we'll think about that. Sorry about the bang. So, these still need, I've actually cleaned all these off. And they did have some awful vinyl letters that said John Fowler & Co. Leeds on them, which is what all the ones that you see pictures of in the factory had written on them. It's a bit advertising for Fowlers. It's probably not going to get that on it. It's probably going to get EJ Ritz and Contractors Coomera Village or something like that. Don't know. Good question, Dan. Really good question. You've got to get it down there if we do that. So, I mean, yes, it's going to save $300 shipping it, because probably more than that, because if we put it on, we're over 3 meters probably. So I think we're going to put the frames on it, measure it, and if we're under 3 meters, we're probably just going to fit it up here. So that's where we are. You can lift it with the John Deere, yeah, but it's kind of the average ute load. It's sort of, I don't think much of it as a theory, as far as putting on a ute and getting it there without scratching it. So, no, we're here to hang a chain hoist. No, there's not very much in the ceiling at all, actually. So probably we can borrow a forklift here. So that's probably the easiest way. Get it on there, get it done, get it covered up. And need a car trailer to move it nearly. Yeah, we got it on an 8 before, but it was a bit of a load. And it didn't care very much about how scratched up it got either doing that. So I'm be more fussy about it this time, especially if we've got the side sign written and everything. I think it's probably going to go on here, and we're going to get the canvas all set up. I'm going to kick this board over, so hold your ears, everybody. There we go, bang. So, got these hooks, right? Yeah, I've got a friendly forklift owner here, so probably once it's all ready to go, we can just lift it in place, I hope, and hopefully it all fits. Sorry, Paul. Well, this goes this way up, and I think that's the wrong way out. But anyway, what we're going to do is run these hooks along here like this. And we're going to make a curtain. This says rotate over vice. We're going to make a curtain to hook on eyelets every however far, all the way along here, with a zip or something up the corner, and one for the other side. And then where this comes across the top, we'll put a row of hooks along here too, and the curtain along the back. I've talked to the canvas guy here at the end of the street, so he makes boat canvas, which probably means that he attaches a bit of a premium to it, but we'll find someone at some point, but we want to get this all going. So that's what we're going to do, is going to run hooks along there, stainless steel screws. They'll be nice and neat, and those hooks are good because they're not like cop hooks hanging down. You're not going to brain yourself on it every time you get in. That's the theory anyway, because I have been on engines and rollers where you do brain yourself every time. So anyway, that's where we're at with that. It's all systems go. This is, I don't know, this might be mahogany or something. I don't know. It's probably original timber and it's pretty heavy. It could just be a bit of blackwood someone's cutting and pushed in Australia somewhere. No idea really, but it's quite dark timber. So that's what we're going to do. I've got a picture of the original delivery stencils for John Fowler and Co. Leeds, and we might put one of them on each, like get a stencil made eventually and stick on one on the curtains so that we know that they belong to this. And the theory is you just unzip the corners and roll them up and put them away and get them out again tonight. Hang them up. Keep some of the heat in if you're at a rally or something and you're running, want to get it going again in the morning. And keep some of the water out if it's raining. Don't know if it's oak. It's nearly black. You can see that's not burnt. That's the actual colour with varnish on it. Have a look at this. It could be oak, but it's really very dark. Anyway, this is going to need sanding back, and I'm going to try on Friday to get a coat of red on one side of it all. That's a pretty high hope, but we'll see how we go. Then I work Saturday, and then I've got Sunday off, so Sunday it'd be pretty awesome to get the rest of the red on. But my experience with Viapone's high pigment red is that probably it's going to be a couple of coats. And it's going to take 24 hours, 48 hours to dry in between. So, there we go. That's canopy progress. It's all happening here. There's more of the canopy sitting there on the floor. They're the front stays that go down from the front to the cylinder block. I don't know, probably could spray it. I don't think it's going to car. I'm really, hey Raymond, I'm not as keen as I could be on red overspray everywhere. Red's going to get all over everything. I think I'm just going to run it on with a roller. That's kind of where we're at. I picked up a tarp. Scored a tarp because I need a tarp, and I asked a few people about where I'll get a tarp, or where I'd hire a tarp, or buy a tarp, or get a second-hand one, or appropriate one, or borrow one, or something for a bit until this canopy goes back on, because I think it's going to rain. And my boss at work says, oh, well, we just finished covering the swimming pool up for a week while they replaced the roof on the house. So I got a free cheap one. Yeah, I got a fairly big tarp actually. It is kind of crazy big. It's about, I guess it's probably 6 or 7 meters by about 10. And it's already been chopped in half, so it might have been a 10 by 10, something like that. Anyway, the insurance paid for it. And I got it and dried it out on Sunday and rolled it up. But it hasn't got eyelets along one side, so if someone wants to come and do a sewing job on it, probably that's not going to happen. I did get some of these clips. I don't know if they're any good or whether they're the answer even. They're sort of a tarp clip. They seem to work. So can rope things down like that. I was going to sit down and put ropes all around the tarp, and I found some rope, and I was going to do some proper splicing and stuff and make nice ropes to go all the way around. But it's a day's work that I have, a day that I haven't really got, so that hasn't happened yet. Now I put this on here, I'm not sure it's going to ever come off. No, it did. Look at that. So, very cool. So we'll probably hold the thing up against it and say, hey, look, this needs to be quite a bit shorter than that. Let's chop some of the end of it off and throw that away too. And we get a tarp that looks, or keep it until we might need it somewhere. And when we get it all sort of covered up out there, got to cover it up for a couple of reasons. One is it's probably going to rain. Queensland spring this year is going to be pretty ordinary, I think, the same as any other season. Or we get rain. And the other thing is that it's a whole lot less dirty if you cover it up, and people aren't going to brush up against it. Because don't know if anyone knows anything about steamrollers, but you can't walk up to a steamroller and walk away and not end up like absolutely black. It's just something that happens. So, yeah. Anyway, so that's it. I got some of these. This is a really right, these are expensive. Is the only problem with them. If they were a bit cheaper, they'd be awesome. But my review is probably a 8 out of 10 because they don't last particularly long and they're crazy expensive. This one's about half the price of a 3M one or a Norton one. That's good stuff, Tim. That might be worth listening, worth remembering. They wear out quick and they're expensive. The Norton one's about twice this price. I don't know if they're twice as good or not. I haven't really tested because I didn't really feel like springing out $40 for a wheel that I'm suspicious is only going to last about half hour. So where they are good is that they didn't damage the timber at all. They just took the paint off, and they're really, really quick. They make a mess, but I think they're awesome. But the job would have taken probably twice or 3-4 times as long if I never had them. However, they're expensive, and I used about 3 of them. So anyway, discovered those. They're not bad. This is another job that's got to be done at some point. These are the bolts out of the canopy. Right, this is a, I guess, a 1/2 inch coach bolt. This is to hold the sideboards on. There's what, 2, 4, 12 of them. There's 3 of these in each board, and there's 31 boards, so there's about 90 of these. And nuts. Don't think they're anything particularly special, and they're certainly not original. And spring washers. They need a good clean up because they're pretty grotty. That one's not so bad, but most of them are sort of full of paint. Might just hit them on the wire wheel and see how they go. If it's taken a bit of a job, I might think of something else, but we'll see. So that's a job for this weekend too, is clean them up. Get into it. And clean those bows up and coat undercoat and coat it black, I guess. And then we can start putting them back together. I don't know if there's a cheaper one than that, but I would consider that to be, I'm hoping that's a mid-price one. The orange Norton one is about $42, something like that. That's crazy, and they look exactly the same, so I don't know if they last any longer. But that one's about, Total Tools, they're about $24. I didn't think that was particularly cheap because I went to a place in Coffs Harbour when I was down there doing nothing and bought 3 of them, and I didn't think they were that expensive. So full bore. Okay, I'll check that out. I don't know how many of the Norton ones actually sell. They look pretty expensive for what they are. Anyway, what else? Oh, electric motor. I've got electric motor primed anyway, and they're going to get a coat of paint before I go to bed for the jigsaw. So that's a job. Getting there. I've done a few things for that. I cut a switch panel. Oh, how cool is that? And I got a e-stop switch, and I got a on-off switch for it. So that's going back together slowly. I've done a little bit to that. Yeah, apart from that, workshop projects are sort of drawn to a halt while I get some red paint on all these boards. This is aluminium composite panel. I had a heap of it sitting here. I still got a heap of it sitting here, but I just cut a bit and actually just cut it out with a bench here and sanded it up a bit and gave it a coat of paint. So I just pop riveted it on the frame at some point. Anyway, that's cool. Don't know if there's much else really. That's kind of where we're at. everything's got like dust here everywhere. Everything needs a good blow off and a clean down. I got run through here with the blower on Tuesday night, pretty heavy, and moved a fair bit of dust out, but it's still not good. I think I'll wait until I've got these boards sanded up, and then one day this weekend I'm going to get in and give this place a good sweep out, clean up. Might take more than a day, that's what I'm afraid of. So what's everyone else's projects happening? Dan's bought 2 Fergie tractors, and wonder about that. And poor guy's got it bad. Craig's making clickbait videos that seem to be getting lots of hits, which is awesome. You should go and check out his last video. Chirpy's been driving a steam loco. Rustanox has been setting up his milling machine still. There's always good videos come from Rustanox. Who else has made a video? Whose videos have I missed? Like, plug yourself. There's a few from Poppy. I think I've watched some of them. Rustanox has got to fix the feed. October the 1st, yes. Rough Cut 2022. Hashtag Rough Cuts 2022. I've got a video planned, and it's getting a bit closer to actually happening. I'm going to have to take a day off and all this and actually make it. So that's pretty exciting. Kevin, that's excellent news. Giles Engineers, worth a look. Paul's picking up, rebuilding a new to me Lawsing 6300. I've got 2 presses sitting here. One of them belongs to me and hasn't ever been finished because I'm still waiting to get the mill going. And the other one hasn't got a bench for it yet. It's kind of a boat anchor and it's not mine. I've done some radio control models, but nothing serious. Dan at Dan Shed has a pretty nice narrow gauge steam railway that's radio controlled, I think. Stephen's ordered material. I've got all the material for mine. I've just got to get in and do it. It's feasible to radio control a Mammoth model traction engine. I don't see why it wouldn't be. It'd be a very cool project. What you going to? Well, not even. It's probably. If you have a Myford Boys little traction engine, I think he radio controlled that. That's a very nice engine. That's somewhere between a Kenneth Wells and a Mini as a project. Even hiding electronics is not crazy difficult. I wouldn't thought. You probably need a more sensitive regulator than the Mammoth's got, I would think. And the other thing about a Mammoth is it's not self-starting. So that's something else to think about. It's only a single cylinder oscillating engine. I say only. But you either hook it up with, I don't know, I really don't know. Dan would be in a position to talk about the heat, but it doesn't seem to worry the little locomotives. You can put them all in a little living van, the batteries and the receiver and everything, and just run a little wire with a multiple pin plug into the engine and put servos on the servos in the tender with linkages. So yeah, it wants a living van or a trailer, absolutely. Where's a Mammoth engine without a living van? Seriously. On that same train, right? This is premature, and it's probably never going to happen, and it's sort of part of the 5-year plan, which may roll out to be a 10-year plan or a 15-year plan, or it might happen next week. If anyone knows where there's a 4-wheel public works department living van from the 20s or 30s sitting around that needs minimal work and might be for sale, yeah, hit me up if you know of one in Australia somewhere. If you're walking around in someone's farm and you see a old BWD living van with a turntable under the front and rubber tyres or whatever, a stove in the corner, etc., 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 either a tin one or a timber one, and they think the farmer might sell it, pass his phone number on. Because, yeah, the living van would be very nice. But you've got to get the roller going first, properly. The roller's going, but you've got to get back together. All the little, like, yeah, all the pretty things back on it. I think that's a rhetorical question, Dan. I'm not going to answer that. So, apart from that, yeah, it's a camper trailer. It's most of the roller companies built like purpose-built living vans for work department crews. Like if you're working on country roads, you park the thing up and you do a stretch of road and come back and sleep the night and then move it along and do the next stretch of road, I guess. They've usually got a few bunks and a stove and wash trough and so forth and so on. No video of repairs on the roller at all. It's all been live streamed, sorry. We will be doing a arrival and announcement video at some point during this week. It's coming here on Friday night, or Friday afternoon. So I might try and get some footage of it arriving. And try and get some, we'll have a bit of an overlook and a bit of look at it, but there'll be 1,000 questions arriving from that. If I can get it up before Wednesday, which I probably can, then you can all watch it and ask all the other stupid questions then, because, we're good with questions. Not particularly good with answers, but we are good with questions. So it doesn't even need rubber tyres, really. I mean, you'd be fairly happy with steel wheels, but there ain't many of them around. That's exactly right. Restrictions on coal, there isn't any really. The trouble is that no one in Australia fires with coal. Most Australian engines were wood-fired. Locomotives are a bit different, but most agricultural and road locomotives, I think, probably wood-fired. I think that's a given. Probably they were supplied with a bit different fire bars for that. Some of them in different configurations, but I'm not sure how true that is either. But as far as getting coal, it's if you can, yeah. You need a solar panel on top to keep the scooter charged. That's exactly right. And steps, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, that's right. It's like me with questions and answers, James. I understand. I'm good with projects too. Um, anyway, it's one of them things that happens. Failing that, a four-wheel trailer of the same sort of thing, like a lorry trailer, drag, if you want to call it by its proper name, I guess, with a turntable under the front. And we can put a water tank on and a stack of firewood. That's the other thing. Need more water and more timber and somewhere to stay. Is the whole going to the pub on Sunday thing with rollers. There's numerous projects to do on it, but most of them are prioritised as being fairly low down the list. It's not at this point particularly pretty, which is a bit. It's in its working clothes, but it could be a whole lot prettier without anything except a bit of work. Anyway, so that's where we're at with that. Also got to get a Weybridge ticket on Sunday or Friday. So truck's going to go across the Weybridge on the way up and get a tear ticket, I guess, tear weight. And then on the way back go across again and get a loaded one, and we'll then be able to work out the difference, and they should be able to print us a ticket to say, hey, look, this is the weight of the vehicle. Because there isn't a local, well, there is a local Weybridge. There's one like 3 kilometres away down here, but it's on the motorway, so you can't really get a roller on it. It's a bit difficult, that. And truck drivers get a bit sort of towy, I think, about putting a truck across a transport department owned Weybridge unless they've got to. So I'm not expecting to get him to do that. But there's not one within driving distance of anywhere that this roller is likely to be in the next 10 years. And we do need a ticket for the motor vehicle department to get it registered. So that's something that's got to happen on Friday. And to be honest, I guess it's something to work out, but I don't know what's involved in it really yet. But ideally, a caravan probably wants to be about caravan wants to be about 2.1 by about probably 4.5 or 5 metres, and wants to be tall enough to stand up in, and it wants decent running gear, and wants something that we can probably register if we have to. And generally, wooden frame chassis on trailers are frowned on by people who regulate these things. So, still thinking about that. Anyway, take care, Craig. We're nearly an hour anyway, so I'm going to sort of nearly say I'm done too, but I'm just dribbling a bit now. Anyway. I was up at about 6, I think, something like that. I'm sure some of you were too. Laws ruin all the fun. That's right, tea and biscuits, they do a bit, but probably if we can find something with a metal frame and probably some brakes, we'd be sort of ready to start something like that. But hasn't really happened yet, and I'm not seriously looking, but plenty of years for that, I hope. Take care, Paul. Thanks. And thanks, James. It's sort of, I know it's a bit one-sided here at the moment. No, I'm sort of feeling like I'm just dribbling about rollers and projects and things. I really feel like I probably need to get this thing under cover pretty quick. So I'm push. I've done a couple of pretty hard days' work on this week, and I'm actually a bit sore, but we'll come right. If we can get this thing back on, well, then things can return to normal a bit at this point. Anyway, I might call it a night, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Be kind to each other. Thanks for the likes and the subscriptions, anyone who's new. And for the useful information, anyone who pipes up and says, hey, look, this is how you should do it. You might learn something, and that's really awesome. So, appreciate all you guys. Next week, put in your calendars, because next week's going to be big roller walkover at this stage. And there should be an arrival video before then. Anyway. Russell, that's more information than we need. There's, yeah. Especially after the reveal about putting your head in the manhole. Anyway, be kind to each other, and more soon, guys and girls. And we'll keep you posted. And David, we expect to see progress in this Mammoth engine with the radio control on it. Awesome project. Take care, and we'll see you at some time, Raymond. Got something here for you. So, righto, we'll see ya.